it's Mal, and welcome back / welcome to the Doll Mom Podcast. Today, we have on a very special guest. If you listen to the past episodes of the Doll Mom Podcast, you already know who this guest is because she was the guest, I should say, in episode 17. Today, we are welcoming back Morgan from at the Blind Dolly Girl XO.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be back. And back here to talk about dolls and new things with dolls.
We have such an exciting episode today. We are going to give a doll update with Morgan. We're going to check in to see how it is since the last time we had her on the Doll Mom Podcast. What has changed in her doll area? What has changed with her in the doll world? We're going to get into that. And then we're going to be talking about two legendary, iconic dolls. The first doll we're going to talk about is the Blind Barbie that just came out. And then the second doll we're going to talk about is the Our Generation Marlow doll. I am super duper excited, and I feel like without further ado, let's get this episode started. It's episode 30. Can you believe that?
Wow, 30. Wow.
Yeah. Legendary, iconic. So I feel like without further ado, let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Obviously, it's been a hot minute since we had you on. We're on episode 30, and you were on 17. So, Morgan, what has happened in your doll world, in your neck of the woods, since we last talked?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so much. Anybody who's listening, please get yourself, a drink and get comfortable.
I'm ready for this.
So when I was last on, I was very much heavily into historicals. I had Samantha, I had Molly, I had Kit, I had Mary Ellen for a minute, I had Courtney. With having everybody, I also had pretty much as I could for them. Like I had Courtney's bunk bed for a minute. I had couple kitchens. I had et cetera, et cetera. I organized my stuff in like historicals with historicals and truly me's with truly me's, which I didn't have a lot of, and girl of the year with girl of the year for like clothing and accessories and stuff. And I felt I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but what I was doing was I was being a completist, and I don't mean that to sound like a negative thing, but for literally everything I had. And it just got to be too much. It's just I live in a 1-bedroom apartment that I share with my boyfriend, and my doll space is literally corners of our living room. And so I could not make that work. The way I store my food, my clothing, accessories, all that is just in Sterilite storage bins. And so I sold quite a bit, including pretty much most of my historicals with the exception of Samantha. I am regretting that a lot for some. I'm having seller's remorse. And I do hope to get some back somehow, someday. Since I was so overwhelmed, I just went into this frenzy of decluttering and not really taking the time to think about what I was going to miss. In time, I will hopefully get that back. In terms of what I've turned it into, so I have 2 Billy bookcases that I had in episode 17. And what I've done is the bookcase, it's now not just my doll stuff. We also have technology things on there, like laptops and things, because I wanted my boyfriend to feel like he had space on the shelf too, like it wasn't just mine. I've set up a few displays on there. We have the Jenny's ice cream truck on there. We have Mary Ellen's Seaside Diner. Got that last month with a discount. We have the coffee shop on there, and then we have the juice bar on top for the coffee shop because it wouldn't all fit on one shelf. These are narrow shelves. Then the other thing that I did was there's like I call it a little hobby hole, but I don't know what else to call it. Right behind where the dining table is and the hall closet, we have like this alcove area. That's another good word for it, like a little alcove. And so that's now where my storage bins live. And then I have a little section for like if I want to take the Donut Dreams Costco folding bed out, which is what I have, and then Emily Rose bedding to set up a bedroom, I can do that. And then I have the new gourmet kitchen, which I got in March, I think, and the breakfast table for two set that I got for my birthday. That's always out. So that's what I did over there. And then the dolls are very nicely now displayed on floating shelves, which I got from Amazon. I'm in love with them and I want to get more. They are great. I have two side by side. I think they're 24 each, 24 inches wide, I want to say. So I put them side by side and it looks fantastic. The last thing I got, and that's changed, is this is behind my chair right now, which I'm sitting in because there's no other space to put it, is Grace's Bakery. I got this used, but with all the pieces and in fairly good condition for being in an attic for like ever. I had to clean it a lot, but it's now great. And yeah, that's a piece I wanted for a while. So for dolls, now today I have, let's see, I have Grace, of course. I kept her. I have Samantha. She's with a friend of mine right now getting a spa treatment. I have Truly Me 128, who I named Piper. I got her for my birthday from my boyfriend. I have Truly Me 28, who I bought from a friend, and I did that on purpose because, one, I liked her, but also I thought it'd be really fun to have two dolls that were literally 100 numbers apart. I have Truly Me 123, but I don't really do anything with her. I have Ariel, who I just got after having a mini surgery. I treated myself to her and her ball gown. Love her. I next want to get Cinderella. Would love Anna. Can't do Anna because don't have the money for Anna. But anyways, and the last doll that I have is little Miss Mia, who is extremely special to me. She's still in her meat. She's just looking like a queen up on the shelf. Because you helped me get her. So those are the dolls that I have.
Such a great collection. I want to back up a little bit because you talked about how you kind of got overwhelmed being in like the historical kind of mindset and being like a completist. At what moment did you realize you were overwhelmed and that you should start downsizing?
I think I realized it when I realized that I was only gravitating towards certain dolls. And also when I realized that, like, oh, I want this doll, but there's literally no way I can fit her. Or I have to put them up on the top, which then my boyfriend has to get down for me because I'm too short to reach. Or I have, let's say, I don't know, Courtney and all of Courtney's things, but I maybe only put her in this outfit or go for this thing, or I don't really know. I can't say it was one specific thing. I think it's also because I don't have a designated space that's just mine. Once I started noticing like my boyfriend kind of bumping into things, and like he never said it, but I just felt like things were kind of overcrowded, and I try to keep a really fine line with that and not make it to where he feels suffocated as much as possible, which with American Girl and 18-inch dolls in general, like I said, it's a very fine line to walk because the accessories and the play sets, which is my obsession, as well as the dolls, is, they're larger. So I'd say it's just kind of a mix of everything. And also the more, when I would take dolls and I'd take them and I'd put them in my closet to make room for more. And then I would just not get them out. And so that's, I think one of the biggest things that told me is once I ended up with 2 trash bag full of dolls that just lived in the closet that I wasn't getting out, that I wasn't fixing up, that I wasn't, doing that kind of stuff with. And when I started to realize that I couldn't actually find stuff because I thought, oh, I have to have historicals with historicals and girl of the year with girl of the year. But then I'd forget what bins had what. And, because I was trying to do it in a way that looked nice, but not in a way that was practical when you're trying to find stuff just with your hands. Kind of a mix, I guess.
Yeah. I thought, I would ask that because there could be other people struggling listening to this episode right now who has too much and maybe he's on like the line of maybe starting to downsize, or maybe like thinking in their head, maybe I should downsize this, if it is getting overwhelming for me, I thought it might help some listeners out there.
Absolutely. And the one thing I realized as well is that, I've started to put some dolls, like once I put Samantha in a pair of Our Generation white boots because I wanted to see, I thought it would look cute. I've realized that historical doesn't have to just be in historical outfits. Girl of the Year doesn't just have to be in their outfits, their things. You can, if you want, I have my Piper wearing Courtney's jeans and sneakers right now that I got from a friend. Be creative. Mix it up. I mean, that's part of the fun. And the point of collecting isn't to make it look like a catalog, I guess. And when I first got into this, for some reason, I'm not sure if it's because of Facebook groups I was in and what I was seeing around or the stores or what, but that's what I thought. And I remember having that thought, like, oh, I have Samantha. I now need all of Samantha's things because I have Samantha. But that's not necessarily true. If you don't have the space or you don't have the means or you just don't want to, just because that's what other people do isn't what you have to do.
Yes, I feel like that's not really talked about enough. Like, your doll collection is what you want it to be. It shouldn't be about what you're seeing all these other people on the internet making, like trying to copy their collection. No, your collection is what you want it to be. And I feel like that's another thing too, mixing stuff up, like putting historical characters in Girl of the Year stuff, or even like putting American Girl dolls in Our Generation stuff, or buying, different things like from different brands for your dolls. I feel like that's not talked about enough in the doll community.
Absolutely. I buy Our Generation stuff a lot. I love Our Generation. I just bought the mini mystery lunch bag sets.
I don't think anybody should be ashamed for buying another brand or for mixing it up because, like we mentioned, your doll collection is yours. You're the one who's going to be looking at it and going to be interacting with it more than people online do.
Absolutely. 100%. And, at the end of the day, you have to do what brings you joy. So yeah, but no, don't let anybody hurt, like, don't let anybody speak mean to you about that. And whether that's even this extends to family too. I have a rule, and my rule is if you love me and you respect me, then you're going to respect, and at least you don't have to understand what I like, but you're going to at least respect it. And if you don't respect it, then you don't need to be around me. Whether that's online or in person. That's a very hard rule that I've set. And it's not easy to do, but it makes life a lot easier.
We're clapping. That's a great rule. I like it. So I know we talked about American Girl dolls. I remember in episode 17, you mentioned how you collected Barbie and I think maybe Polly Pockets. Are you still into those?
Yes, but definitely not as much. So the only Barbie I have right now is, Barbies actually, excuse me, because I do have more than one. So I have the Blind Barbie, which we will be talking about later, and I have the Dream Besties Barbie. I love Dream Besties Barbie because, so as a kid, like I'd mentioned, I think in episode 17, kids. Dolls were very hard for me to play with due to my dexterity and things like that. And so I didn't really have fashion dolls. However, when I was about 12, somewhere around there, my mom got me my first Bratz doll. And there was just something about them that I fell in love with. Now, I didn't keep the clothes or anything because they were still too hard for me, but I loved their bigger heads. I loved the bigger lips. I loved the fact I think I felt like I could feel things more on them and see things more because at the time I did have some vision. When I came across Barbie Dream Besties, I'd watched a video from My Froggy Stuff on YouTube that had mentioned about these dolls being a little different proportioned, and I got intrigued. So I went and bought my first one on Amazon. I got Malibu, and she literally looks like almost like a hybrid between Barbie and Bratz. She has a bigger head, she has fuller lips, she has she's completely posable, so her head, elbows, wrists, and knees bend, and then she comes with a bunch of makeup. And her accessories are larger too, which for someone who's blind is great because I don't lose the pieces as easy. For Polly Pocket, my Polly Pocket has slowed down a lot. Ever since I got fake nails, they're really hard to play with because they're super small. I did get the Barbie Dreamhouse Polly Pocket Compact, but I need help putting it together because it comes in 2 pieces. It's really cute though. And then I do hope to one day get the Harry Potter Hogwarts Compact that they came out with. So still doing it, but definitely not as much. My focus is way more right now on like American Girl, and I'm trying to not spend as much because there's other things coming out that I want, and I'm trying to get more outfits because now I'm into outfits, which is a new thing. I wasn't as much into outfits as I am now. Like I'm low key obsessed with the Truly Me outfits. It's a dangerous, very dangerous territory.
I love them. They're very cute. So, kind of on the same topic here a little bit, how do you cut yourself off from like buying something and knowing that there's new stuff coming out while being kind of like space limited?
So one, I think about like, okay, what do I really, really want? So for example, I was just looking today once again at the suite bathroom set from OG because I was debating what's going to be like, what's better. Should I get the Lovely Loft dollhouse that they came out with so I can kind of make a little bit of a high rise to have my stuff displayed? Or should I get just a bathroom set and a living room set and make it more of a line for my DIY dollhouse that I'm making in my little alcove? Especially for larger things. That's some of the thought process that I have is like, how bad do I really want something? Is it really going to fit? Is it something I keep going back to as well? If it's something that I continuously keep looking at, then that tells me as well, like maybe. I also will scan photos with an app I use called Be My AI that describes photos to me. It might not get everything accurate. So sometimes I'll text Mal or I'll text another friend and be like, hey, is this accurate? Because that also tells me if I really want something or not. The visual details. I'm a very visual person. Even though today I'm totally blind, since I had vision growing up, I still retain that visual memory. So my world is in my head is still very visual.
Yeah, I like the thought process. I think it's a good one. On July 23rd, Barbie released the first ever blind Barbie doll. The Guardian, quoting this move, a positive step forward, while other news outlets, quote, great for our community and representation is powerful. Morgan, when you first saw that Barbie was released, a blind Barbie, what was your first thought? How did you feel about it?
Oh my goodness. So, okay, when I first found out about this, actually it was by a friend of mine. She had posted that the doll looked like me, and this was before like it initially was even released, but we got like the little glimpse of it. And I looked at the photo and I was astounded. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have her. I didn't know what she would come with exactly at the time. And then when she actually came out, I was so pleased. I was almost in tears. I love that she's part of the standard fashionista line. She's $10. She's very reasonable. And I thought it was a great move. And I was so pleased to see a doll with something I use every day to get around my community, to get home from work when I take the public bus, which is the little white cane, which we'll talk about more. That was something that she had. And I was so pleased to find out that Braille was going to be on her box, which, for those who don't know, Braille is how the blind can read with our fingertips. It's a combination of dots that is arranged into letters. It's like a code. And it was created by Louis Braille, who was a Frenchman in the 1800s. This is not Mattel's first forte into blind dolls. They had previously the Helen Keller Collector Barbie doll, which I think she initially retailed for like $50. She came with a little Helen Keller doll. Helen Keller she was deaf and blind. And she came with a little Braille book sized for the doll. It couldn't open, but the box for this doll was the little backstory about her was written in Braille completely on the back of the box. So, all of that to say that, this wasn't Mattel's first forte into it, but I think they knocked this doll out of the park. And yeah, I was ecstatic when I heard about it.
I think one of the things that I really liked about it is that they partnered with the American Foundation for the Blind so that, they can accurately portray and they could really do a doll justice.
I agree. And the other thing that I really like is, I from what I understand, I haven't seen this yet. I don't even know if it's out, but from what I understand, there's a new web series coming that Blind Barbie is going to be featured in. And the voice actress for Blind Barbie is actually blind herself. And I think that is just incredible. They spoke with blind people as well to get their honest opinions.
That's one thing that I've always admired about Mattel products is that they really reach out to people when they're designing specific things and they ask for their opinion for people who are in that field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I, as a kid, I didn't like my cane. This is, I didn't like it. I thought, hey, I have some vision. I don't need this stick. And I remember clearly at school, I would walk down the halls and I would purposefully put my cane away. And then as soon as I saw a teacher around the corner, I'd quickly get it back out and act like I was using it.
Aww.
Because I felt different. I felt like it was it's this thing that's making me stick out like a sore thumb. I don't want to be different. I want to be like everybody else. And I think if toys in general had the inclusion like they do today, maybe I and so many others wouldn't have had such a bad stigma associated with the white cane.
That's one thing that I think is so powerful with toys. Growing up, I was very fortunate to have dolls that looked like me in the market. But I know when I grew up, there weren't kids who were fortunate enough to see that within the market. And I am so proud of the toy community, the doll community, of taking steps to represent people who I feel like maybe others not necessarily forget about representing, but also don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Because they are so used to seeing all these people out in the real world. But going back and thinking about what dolls that you had growing up and what you played with, what you interacted with on a daily basis, it's like, oh, I didn't have these dolls growing up, and I would have loved to have those dolls growing up, you know?
Right, exactly. So, okay, so one of the things I wanted to mention about her is her accessories. So the white cane. I'd first like to explain a little bit about a white cane and what that is for those who might not be knowledgeable or familiar with it. So a white cane is a stick. It's made usually of like aluminum, metal, things like that. And it has a handle at the top that a person can hold. It looks like some people say it looks like a golf club handle. They make them today in different textures. The one I have standing by my door right now is The top is like a leather, but I just got one that's wooden. And so it has that. And then underneath that where the aluminum starts, typically canes will have, the middle section is white and then the bottom section is red. And then it has a tip. And the tip is what we use to feel around on the ground. And this helps us clear obstacles. It helps us know like, oh no, there's a tree trunk or or when I cross the street to come home, because I have 2 street crossings on my way home, I'll know like, okay, I'm at, the sidewalk now. I've made it to the other side of the street. Or, oh no, there's a car in the middle of the road. I have whacked a car or 2 in my time, by accident. And so that's kind of the basis of a white cane. And it does make, noise as you move it on the ground. The Barbie comes with her own mini version of this cane, and it feels, it's all plastic, so it doesn't have, and hers is what we call a straight cane. It doesn't fold. So mine, for example, I can take mine not apart, but I can actually like unhook the joints and collapse them and then put a rubber band thing that comes with it around it to make it, small. And so I could like put it in a car or underneath my desk at work or whatever I am. The Barbie's cane is what we call a straight cane. So it doesn't have those joints that you can pull apart. It's just one piece. And they do make real canes like that. She has what we call a marshmallow tip on the bottom. This is a little round, not round. It looks like a marshmallow. That's why it's called a marshmallow tip. Think of a marshmallow that you're going to roast over a campfire. And that's pretty much that cane, that tip. Hers is plastic. Mine is, I'm not sure what my real life material is, to be honest with you. It's not plastic though, I promise. But they make other tips. They make ones that, I have one that is called a teardrop. It's in the shape of a teardrop. It doesn't roll. They make metal ones, which are really fun. And the metal ones, depending on if you get like, say, the marshmallow versus the metal one, some of them allow you to feel more on the ground. Some of them might catch more in sidewalk cracks, like the metal ones do that sometimes. Some of them are better if you are someone who likes hiking. They have, canes more designed for that. There's honestly a world of options available now. And there wasn't when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, it's just I had what I had. But today, like I said, I just got one that now has a wooden handle instead of that leather. And actually, the one I also got, instead of it being the traditional white and red colors with the white in the middle and the red at the bottom, mine's all pink, which I'm super excited about. I'm a huge pink person. Pink's my color. But so yeah, that's really fun. The blind Barbie herself, she, and I apologize, I'm jumping all over the place, but the blind Barbie herself also comes with a pair of sunglasses. So I'm going to actually get her here in my hand. So she comes with a pair of sunglasses on the top of her head. And what I really appreciate is that usually on doll glasses, you can't feel the lenses very well. It just feels like a round circular piece of plastic, right? But here you actually there's like a little bulge almost where the lenses are. And I think that it's like a little bubble detail. And I think it's really, really cute. The Barbie also, I've been told that her eyes kind of have an interesting gaze to them. They're not like, they don't look straight ahead. This is actually from a real life visual impairment condition that exists. I forget what it's called. But that being said, there are some blind people that you will meet who, our eyes might look a little different. My eyes, I have one of the things I have many eye conditions, but one of them is called nystagmus. So my eyes go all over the place. I have no control over in terms of like, if you're looking at me, it might look like I'm looking at, I don't know, the side, but I'm not. So she also has a really, really silky blouse, and her skirt is like a mesh kind of material, and it's a multi-layered skirt. It's really, really cute. It's not like a tutu. I'm not sure how to describe what exactly the style is.
It's like a skirt with multiple layers to it. But it's not multiple layers. There's short little layers, and it kind of goes down. It's like a skirt that I would really like to wear. Her outfit's adorable. If they make this in people size, sign me up for one because I love it.
Yeah, it's like Mel said, it is short. And then she comes with little sandals as well, like little platform sandals. They're honestly nothing special. This is just your standard if you took the cane away, this could just be any other standard fashionista doll in a way, but the cane really does make a difference. The other thing they did with this doll, which they don't tend to do with fashionistas, is her arms are both posable. So they bend at the elbow. And this is so she is able to hold her white cane. And I think that's great. I love that they did it for both arms because some people, they might be left-handed, so they use their cane in the left hand. I'm right-handed, so I use my cane in my right hand. So I think that's fantastic. She's adorable. I want them to bring out accessory packs for her.
That was going to be my next question, kind of when we were done talking about both blind dollies that are currently on the market that I'm aware of. Mm-hmm. What do you want to see next continue? Maybe start or continue within the toy industry representing the blind community?
Yeah, let's we can talk about that after we talk about Marlow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Because I have a lot to say on that.
I love it though. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that question. But one thing that I do want to talk about with the blind Barbie is that I am so proud that she's out there, not only for kids to learn about the blind community, but also maybe some children who are a part of the blind community maybe feel accepted within themselves.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think this doll has a lot of purpose within the community.
Yeah, and not even for kids either. So what I do for my job, I'm what we call an assistive technology instructor. And in simple terms, that means I'm a teacher for adults and seniors who are blind, and I teach technology. So I teach, how to use a computer, how to use a phone, how to use all that stuff with technology specifically designed for the blind, or rather not specifically designed for us, but that have features we can use. What I was planning on doing when I can get a stand for her is I want to take her and display her on my desk at work, because I will occasionally get clients who are very new to their blindness, who might not know about a white cane. And while I am not the instructor that deals with a white cane, I use one. And so I thought I could also, use this doll as a teaching tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So many good opportunities to come from this doll. So many purposes to be filled, not only for everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
So the next gorgeous doll that we're going to be talking about in this episode is the Our Generation Marlow doll. I tried to find a date when this doll came out. I cannot find anything. Different things that I'm seeing is from 2021. Someone posted a video over her. A couple things in 2022 and 2020. And then I'm also seeing that I think she's retired as well, too, which I did not even know that she was retired. I wasn't even aware that she got pulled off the doll market.
Yep, she did. I don't know exactly when, but I think for her release, anytime between, I'd say 2020 to 2021 is accurate, because in 2021, I remember being at a store with my friend, and that's like I'd seen her online before, but that's when I saw her at Target. So, yeah.
I've also seen some reviews from like 3 years ago and stuff on Google, and reading some of these reviews, they just make me happy. Like a doll that represents me the most. I
Mm-hmm.
just love that. I love it. I just love diversity. And then somebody says unique and amazing. My new favorite doll. Just makes my heart happy. So Morgan, when she came out, how did you know about her? Because I think this was the time, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were getting into the doll community.
Yes. So this was the time when I was getting into the 18-inch doll community specifically. I had been in the doll community for about 2 years before that, starting in 2019, but I'd been with Barbie. So this is when, around the time when I went to New York, met up with my friend Tad, aka the Upside Down Robot, and we went to the American Girl store, and I fell in love, and everything snowballed. And, um, and so I remember browsing Target because by this point I'd already knew also about Our Generation, and I was looking online and I came across her, and I remember doing like a mental double take. I was like, wait, what? And so then I read her description, and when I read her description, I just bawled. There
Oh,
is there is even on my Instagram at Blind Dolly Girl XO, if you scroll down far enough, you will see a photo that I just took of a screenshot of her complimenting Our Generation and just gushing over how good she was and how much I needed her. Um, so that was my initial response, just by going based off of the description alone, because at this time there wasn't an app out there. There wasn't like the Be My AI tool from Be My Eyes that I use or anything like that to help me scan the photos. So
mm-hmm.
that was my experience with that. When I saw her in store, however, so let me back up. So this doll, for those who don't know, obviously she's an 18-inch doll. She was, I believe, $29.99 retail. She didn't have posable arms. She wasn't like one of those dolls, but I mean, in terms of like the elbows and knees. But she came with a cane. The cane it had a pink handle and then a white body and a pink bottom. And then she also came with a guide dog and a harness for the dog and I think some dog treats. And I think she came with sunglasses as well, and I don't remember if she came with anything else. So those were some of the things she came with. And when I finally saw her in store, I was in New York, and like I said, my friend and I were at Target, and I remember he was like, "Oh, are you gonna get her? Are you gonna get her?" I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was astounded that I wouldn't get her. He's like, why wouldn't you get her? And I'm going to tell you guys why. The way I collect, this goes back into when we previously talked about what makes me decide to get something. One of the other deciding factors is if I like everything, and I mean from a retail shelf like Target, Walmart, American Girl website / store. I have to like everything to almost everything in the set. For me to buy something that is anywhere from, $30 and up, I have to like everything that it comes with. I didn't like her outfit. Her outfit it was like this red and white, I think, striped dress with this brown cardigan, and I forget what color the shoes were, but it just...
Brown. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I pulled up a picture. She comes 2 ponytails, blonde hair, pulled back. She has a tan bow on her head. Cute little bow. She's in the stock photo, she is wearing the red glasses. She has a tan, looks very fuzzy, don't know if it's fuzzy, cardigan. Her dress is white and black stripes, brown boots.
Got it. Okay. Yes, the cardigan was slightly fuzzy. So I didn't like that outfit. I did not. The brown, to me, take off the brown cardigan and maybe, but the brown bow, the brown cardigan, the brown shoes, it made me feel like part of the message they were sending is, and this is going to sound harsh, so I really apologize, but it made me feel like part of the message they were sending is blind people can't dress themselves, or blind people don't have fashion sense. As somebody who, and I understand that's really not what they were saying, but it just made me feel that way. And as somebody who, I love pinks and purples and blues and greens and dresses, and compared to all the other dolls on the shelf that was dressed in all these frilly, pretty things, I just felt like Marlow herself was plain, and it bothered me. My friend Tad and my boyfriend and everybody else were like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't get her. Even my boyfriend to this day, actually, he forgot about her. And when I reminded him, because I was talking to him about how we were going to get together today, and he was like, wait, you didn't get her? Why didn't you get her? Can you get her from the third party market? Like, he really wants me to get this doll.
Oh,
What I want to do is I want to get her accessories. That's what I want to look for. Because I would rather give the cane to one of my American Girl dolls like Piper, who's stunning, and do it that way. And that's the other great thing I wanted to mention about this doll, is that she comes with a plethora of accessories that are great for, blind representation. And you don't have to use it with this doll. I have a friend who actually did get her, sold the doll, and gave it to the cane to one of her Ruby Red Fashion Friends dolls. So this is one way you can like DIY your own blind doll if you would like.
backing up a little bit, I do see where you're coming from, because looking at the stock photo, her outfit is like very nude colors, not bright, toned down outfit, color wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think if she was dressed in something else, like maybe more colorful, maybe something else, would you have bought her?
Yes, without
Yeah.
question. Oh, yes. I would have, what did I get that day, actually? I think I want to say I got the little, like, fruit trolley set they used to have. I believe that's what I got. And I would have put that back, and I would have gotten her without any questions asked. My other concern was, I think I did already get an American Girl doll that trip. And so I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to fit her in my bag to go home, but I would have gotten her and just not cared. Like, I would have maybe
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, maybe I would have had Tad ship her to me or something, but I would have done it and figured it out later without question. The outfit is the one guarantee I didn't buy her. Now, one of the things that I was asked at the store by him was, when we were talking about it, because I was looking at this doll for a minute, and he was like, well, you can get her a different outfit. And I was like, yes. And even Leo, that's my partner's name, he suggested the same thing today, as a matter of fact. And he's like, well, you can put her in something else. And I was like, well, yeah. But again, this goes back to, if I don't like the original thing that's all included, like, I'm not going to go spend more money just to make the default something I like. So it has to be, I have to like everything that it comes with, or, I'm just not going to. I don't know. It's just something I kind of set for myself, and now I can't get myself out of that mindset. So
that's so interesting, because I've always heard people buy like dolls and like if they don't like the outfit, selling the outfit, or like dressing, her in something that they already have and just getting rid of the outfit. I just find that so interesting, and I like it. I like it's a new, fresh mindset. And plus you could even have that mindset with like accessories and furniture pieces, with big ticket items. Oh, are you going to use everything, before you invest in something that big?
And that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. There are some things, I will admit, that I have that, maybe I don't use everything of, like, let me think. Oh man. Okay. The Harry Potter Honeydukes trolley. I don't really use the trolley. I'll use like the food pieces. But usually, yeah, when I got the new gourmet kitchen, it's, that kitchen now is $295. I sat on that and I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at the photos and looked at the photos again. And it's like, am I really I really going to use this compared to the other one I had, which was the 2016 one at that point? Yes, I will. So I went ahead and did it. That's some of the things I think about. Or I think about, what do I have that I can already add to this to make it even better? Or will I have to go out and buy more stuff?
So now we're going to go back to that question that we said that we were going to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to see new or continue in the doll community representing the blind community?
I would just die, absolutely die and I'm going to use American Girl as an example because I honestly think they could do it the best with the best customization options. I would die to see, for example, let's say American Girl came out with a blind doll, right? You can come out with a doll. Maybe the doll comes with glasses in, her accessories, but then you could have an accessory pack with a white cane. And at the salon, you know how they offer like ear piercings and hearing aids? Well, then they could offer custom canes where the person could get the doll. They could have cause how a cane is customized is it's just tape. That's all it is. It's colored tape wrapped around. So the salon, you could then choose a color of the cane, or you could choose different colors if you wanted to then make the cane your own for your doll if you wanted to. The other thing is like in an accessory pack or a separate accessory pack, you could have a guide dog with a harness. And they already technically have this because they do have the service dog.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they could release something similar to that, but like in a different color scheme. And then that dog, could be posable, cause it would need to be to walk the human, or doll in this case. And then you could have, okay, so if it's a truly me doll, she could have
ready to ask, are we thinking of just adding like accessories to like the Truly Me dolls, or are you like wanting like a specific doll dedicated to the blind community like Barbie has or Our Generation did?
I would be happy with either or.
Okay.
I have ideas for both. So
awesome.
For the Truly Me accessories, you could have like a little Braille note taker, which a Braille note taker is, it's got 6 keys on it with a space bar and a couple other keys. And this is how the blind writes in Braille. It's like a little computer, but no screen. So they could have that. And then for historical, they could have, if they wanted to, they could have the similar things, right? But they could maybe have the doll be, I don't know, from the 50s or 60s or something like that. And they could have a Perkins Braille writer. And what that is, think of Kit's typewriter, but instead of all the keys being there, it's literally a row of 6 keys. And then you have the return carriage thing and the backspace on the other end. So, and it could be metal, as they are metal. And yeah, I have so many ideas, the directions it could go. They also could do, if they wanted to go even earlier than that, like maybe early 1900s or late 1800s would be really cool to see. They could do a slate and stylus as well, which is, slate and stylus is kind of hard to explain. It's basically a little metal slate that has these different holes that you can poke into it to make the Braille letters. And then it pokes through the other side of the page. That's the best way I can explain it. But yeah, those are some of the things I would love, love, love to see. Other brands could pull it off, but I think American Girl honestly could execute it the best, especially with the customizations and with the materials needed to get things right.
I love how you were like naming off like Truly Me stuff, historical characters. Like you really have thought about this, and I really love that.
I have. I've put a lot of thought into it. I've even spoken to American Girl about it. When I was a few years ago, I got offered a job at my local store that is no longer around. RIP.
Oh.
But the gentleman I was speaking with when I first called, when we first did my first interview, we were laughing because he had given me a soda at the cafe the other day and I didn't know it. He didn't know I was blind because my cane wasn't like fully visible. And if you look at me, just by looking at me, you can't tell that I'm visually impaired. That was just a funny moment. And so I'd asked at one point, I was like, hey, are you guys going to be developing any kind of like blind character? Because you have Joss and that's great. And, you know, one of the reasons I love American Girl is how high the quality is and the, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, I'd love to see more disability representation beyond Joss, who's deaf, Mary Ellen with polio. And I think that's it, unless there's somebody I'm missing. You know, he said that I wasn't the first person to ask. And I don't remember what his response was, but I have asked about it. And yeah, I've thought very deeply about it.
Well, American Girl, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but you never know, or Mattel, reach out to Morgan so she can be on the advisory board to help you through it. That would be so cool, I feel like, to help with that process.
That is like one of my dreams, to be able to do that, to be able to guide on the materials used and showcase how, you know, like what is a Perkins Brailler? What is a Braille note? What is a, you know, all these different devices that we've either used in the past or used today to help shape what route that could go. Yeah, that'd be a dream.
I always say this every time, but I say it because it's true. We have sadly reached the end of this episode. This is episode 30, which I can't even wrap my head around that we are already at 30 episodes. It's crazy. But I feel like this episode is such a meaningful one. I really enjoyed our conversation today, Morgan. I loved having you on, and I just think it was just the best thing ever. This is definitely one of my favorite episodes so far, and I feel like it's such a special one too because the conversation that we had, I really felt like was meaningful and important. So y'all, if you have not checked out Morgan already, what are you doing? You need to check her out. She has 2 social media accounts. She's very fancy like that. She's on Instagram at Blind Dolly Girl XO, and she has a YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is called Blind Dolly Girl. I will link both of her stuff down below in the description of this podcast episode so you can have direct access to go check her out and give her a follow. You know, send a little love her way, if you will. My name is Mal. I am Dollies and Rainbows on every single social media platform. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're really everywhere. You can find me. If you want to go check me out, you feel free to do so. What you're listening to right now is called the Doll Mom Podcast. Super duper fun. We talk about dolls, obviously. I mean, it's what you listened to for the past, I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but definitely go check us out on social media as well. On Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, at Doll Mom Podcast. So make sure you go and give us some love on there as well. And I think that's really it that I have to say for episode 30, other than I just can't fully wrap my head around that we're at 30 episodes, and I really enjoyed this one. So I really hope you all enjoyed listening to this episode and you like it as much as I do. So thanks for listening, everyone. See you on the next one. Bye.